afternoon, and welcome to another riveting adventure called Wonderful Wednesdays with Wendy. And today is July 15th, and I have Mr. Curtis Jones back with me today to talk about activities for your family and youth in Erie County that are going on right now, because nobody knows and everybody needs an activity, right? I know I
Right. Absolutely. I wonder, and I probably could speak for a lot of parents who have children that are under 14, 15. We need the activities as much as the children do to be able to break the monotony of what's been going on with the shelter in place and opening up in phases and in pieces. And some places you can go, but you have to have a mask, and some places you can't go at all. And you can have only, again, so many people and all of that, all those protocols in place. Summer can be challenging enough, the lack of regular routine and all of those things, but throwing this COVID protocols and all of the things that the world is experiencing now into the mix makes it even a little more challenging. So yeah, first of all, again, I want to thank you, Wendy, and Jill and Jessica, the staff at Mission Empower, for allowing me to come back on again, share some things with you. I love this kinds of conversations because they're more conversational. Hello, Kristen. Thank you for sharing your face there with us. These are more conversational and interactive, and they're not threatening conversations. We just kind of have a good time and trying to share some information. It's interesting. This is maybe my fifth time on. I feel like, especially during an election year, like, CNN and all of the news stations have those regular pundits that come on, and this is they always have those recurring faces. I feel like I'm a Wonderful Wednesdays with Wendy Wotecki pundit that keeps getting the invite to come back and give my opinion and share some stuff. So I don't take that for granted, and I appreciate it tremendously. Again, just wanted to have a conversation today, and for families and parents that, with children, some with unique abilities, as we like to say, or disabilities, as the technical language is, for families who have what are described as maybe more typical children and students in their home, but also for organizations and caseworkers and individuals who work in social services, to be able to have a list of places to go, activities to do, suggestions for families that they're working with. And so that's what this is about today, to be able to share some of those ideas, maybe some things that people haven't thought of, maybe some things that people don't know about, maybe something that's different. We tried to have some things that kind of encompass the city as well as outside the city. Again, that aren't some of your typical things, like a Waldermere, which is a wonderful space, an opportunity for kids, etc., if you can afford it to go. But if you want to do something different, anyway, that's what we want to provide today in this very conversational format. I don't know, Jess, if we can figure it out. It's just a small group of us, and again, people are going to be probably watching this in an archive form, but we will be able to have provided some information to Jessica and the staff there at Mission Empower, a calendar of events and activities for July, rest of July and August. Of course, it's not a totally all-encompassing list of activities. There's no way that anybody can know all of that stuff, but these are just some ideas that I was able to find that I thought were unique for families to try and be a part of. Most of them are free, and those that have a fee are very nominal. It's a very nominal fee, a very small fee attached to it. Thank you, Jess, for bringing that up. And so again, this is designed to be conversational, and Brenda and anyone else that's on, if you have ideas, Kristen, if I'm saying Kristen correctly, if you have ideas or suggestions that we can add to the list. This is one of those times that I think, or conversations I like, because we can add to it, and we can have a greater and a broader list based on what participants may have to bring to the conversation. So again, I don't want to read this to you. I always hate when presenters read stuff, and I can read pretty well, but I just want to be able to show you some of the things that are here, show you some of the content that we have. For example, some adult and teen craft nights some activities at the Leaf that are available, some activities at Asbury Woods that are unique and family friendly, some things that are happening, you know, all the festivals that we normally have aren't happening this year, at least not in their traditional forms, but there are still some small group activities that are predominantly outside that we can participate in, like Music in the Woods at Asbury. And so there's a lot of different things. So I want to jump, since you're kind of facilitating, just if you could go to like the third slide or the third section of email that talks about some of the event details. I just want to highlight that portion real quick. I know it's like maybe page 3 out of 7 or something. I think I gave you the wrong directions. I think it's, if you go back to the original, it's page 3 of the 7 that's there.
This is why she's in charge of technology and not me.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, you scroll down. Right, there you go. So not only did I want to provide, thank you, Jess, provide, you know, a calendar, but I wanted to give detail and provide some detail for those that might be interested in getting a little more information on each of those activities. So as you can see, the first one that I mentioned, the Adult and Teen Craft Corner, that's in Corey. You know what I mean? And so we tried to have some things that were throughout the county that were, you know, kind of touched all areas from Corey to Frontier Park to Asbury and everything in between. Excuse me. So the next couple of pages is just detail for families to and in-service providers and staff who are working with families to be able to give some detail on price, registration if it's required, further information can be captured on their email addresses you can or websites that are there. Again, try to give you as much information as possible so that you can get and glean and pull, not just from a calendar, but you know exactly what you're getting into. If you go down another couple of pages, understanding that, again, we wanted to have as many, I wanted to bring up as many free activities as possible, outdoor activities as possible, maybe unique and creative and not so traditional activities as possible. We also know that not just because of COVID, but just because of the economy in many people's world personally, and then our regional economy is not the best, right? And then COVID makes that even more intense and more challenging. So we wanted to be able to provide, and to be honest, a lot of our children get, one of their or two of their solid meals in a day, whether it be children in the rural areas of the county or the students in the Erie School District, inner city, in the city proper, get a breakfast and a solid lunch in school. And so when they're out of school because of COVID, or they're out of school because it's summertime, those meals are sometimes lost. And so we wanted to be aware of that as well. So the YMCA, as many of you know, provides a lunch program. They partner with other organizations, churches, nonprofits throughout Erie County to provide meals and lunches and sometimes even dinners, depending on the time, for families in our community. And so I wanted to put that and bring that as something that's available for families as well. As you can see, the Downtown YMCA in downtown Erie offers meals for children and for families, in particular children. Friendship Baptist Church, and again, I won't read this, but that's on the west side of the city of Erie. Parade Street Commons, there's multiple spaces from Erie to Girard to Lake City, McCain, that are able to provide lunches and meals for families. And there are several other organizations. Again, this is not a totally exhaustive list. There are other groups and churches that we don't know about, or maybe don't market, or maybe are more niche to their local area. But you can, there are several organizations and groups and programs out there that are helping with the food issues and the feeding issues. I shouldn't say feeding, excuse me, the providing of meals for families and children in our community throughout Erie County. So I wanted to highlight that and bring that into part of the discussion as well, because that's a significant issue. Not only, ironically, we have food deserts in the city, but we also have some food deserts, in the county, in rural areas too, right? Where families just maybe can't access or don't have the means to, to provide some of the level of meal that might be needed for families. So before I keep going, again, this is designed to be interactive and conversational. I feel like I'm a little bit monotone today, like single file, same line. So let's spice it up a little bit. If you guys have any ideas, any suggestions, and also, as you'll see in the information that'll be emailed out to you if you request it, well, probably just email it out to everyone on the list. The YMCA has a series of layers of reopening that they're doing throughout their sites and in Erie County. And so I think we have some, not I think, I have provided some information for you on that, with the rules and regulations of reopening the Camp Sherwin outdoor pool and the activities that are going on there, and all the details and the protocols that are a part of that reopening. Eastside Y and their outdoor pool and all their policies and procedures that they're following in relation to reopening and number of people that are going to be allowed to have be in those events, or excuse me, in those venues and in those places. Jessica, that would be the YMCA stuff is on the second and third. Actually, there you go. Different different items in the email. And then there's the Greater Y reopening plan, which is this dotted document, and it gives you all the details of Camp Sherwin, the county Y, the downtown Y, East Side, Glenwood, and some virtual Y activities. My oldest son, Curtis III, is an employee of the Glenwood YMCA and in general, the regional Y, and he is a fitness trainer. And so he does some virtual classes like silver sneakers. I know we're just not about, senior citizens, but if there's anyone out there that is interested in the senior citizen, the silver sneakers fitness class virtually, he's providing those through the YMCA, but also other like fitness and excuse me, fitness classes, other group classes for folks of all ages. And so the Y is very interactive, and again, opening up their facilities in stages and in pieces with protocols, but also providing some, pardon me, virtual activities and virtual outlets for participation in fitness. And I will say this too, that it was very intentional to provide outdoor ideas and interactive activities, physical movement activities. When I was a child, I always talk about it. I'm oldest of 14, 8 boys in a row. Not only was my mom trying to get us out the house because we were tearing up stuff all summer, but she knew, and my parents, they were really big on go outside and do some physical activity. We only had Atari and Pong and a couple little games like that. We didn't have all the crazy games kids have today. But I think it's important that we get our young people outside of the building, outside of the house, even though we're in a COVID environment. They can be outside, spread out, moving, physical and natural movement. I was intentional about providing activities and really focusing on those type of activities in our community for youth and families to participate in. And full disclosure, that was intentional to be able to do some of those things. So let's have a little dialogue. If there are questions I can answer. Also, I would throw this out there too. It's also on the list. Mission Empower is having our youth, or their youth summit. I'll say our because I'm helping to facilitate some of the classes and programming on those 3 days. So in August the 12th, I believe 12th, 13th, and 14th, Wednesday through Friday, for students that are 8th grade through 12th grade, there's going to be a series of activities that are going to be made available, a series of topics ranging from civic engagement and involvement, youth leadership and development, even some self-care trainings and information we're going to share. Excuse me, we're going to have a lot of, talking about the importance of positive self-image. So there's going to be a myriad of activities and trainings and sessions that is going to take place at the Youth Summit this year at the LEAF, the Lake Erie Arboretum at Frontier Park. And if you have young people, children that are in that 8th grade through 12th grade window that are looking for something positive, constructive, meet some new young people, that's a great activity. This is like maybe, I want to say the 5th or 6th year that this has happened. It's kind of grown and become unique, more unique every year.
What's the process for getting someone enrolled in that and such?
In the for the youth summit.
The summit, yes.
Yeah. So Wendy can speak to that because it may have changed in the office, but I know there's a registration process there at Mission Empower, and again, I'll let Wendy answer that since I said she'll answer it, right?
Yes, there's actually an intake process. The young lady that is in charge of the process is on her honeymoon. So you need to call our office at 825-0788 and leave a message. What's her extension? Do we know? I don't know her extension. Curtis?
No, I don't remember it, but it will. The automated system will direct you to her. So just follow through. And even if something happens, you can just leave a message in the general mail as well, and it'll get to the right people for sure.
Yes, and so there's a real quick, easy intake, and then they can do that over a Zoom or in person. We are in our facility. We have social distance everything appropriately. We have additional shields and masks if the client doesn't have one. We are definitely taking all the precautions that are required of us. So if you're comfortable coming in, we would love to have you come in. If not, we can take care of it over Zoom. I know at the summit, we have a lot of protocol and safety measures put in place. I believe half the students are always going to be outside and half are going to be inside. We have the Arboretum down there, so we're going to be able to hopefully put Curtis in the Arboretum and have the students on the natural staircase and keep them from being inside and have them outside and socially distance if the weather permits. There's lots of fun things we have going on. If you have those students between, is it 4th grade? 8th grade.
8th grade.
8th grade, 14 years old. Okay. So we are capping it at 25 because of the rules, and it will fill up quickly. So if you're interested, I highly advise you to call and get your name put on that list if you know a student that would like to attend.
Yeah, and I think it's a very, yeah, I was going to say the meals provided, all the safety protocols are in place. We've had several meetings and conversations on how that's going to work. Traditionally, what we had done, and full disclosure, Kristen and Brenda, if you didn't know, I worked for Mission Empower for 8 years before leaving and doing some of my consultant work and other community work. Excuse me, so I'm pretty well versed on process. So I keep saying we because I still, feel very much still part of the team, right? So traditionally,
I can answer the question.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do, and here I'm going to share screen, but because I can actually answer the question, I just wanted to verify before I piped in. If you go to missionempower.org, is it showing up on the screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so then from there is Youth Envision on the little tabby up there. When you click on Youth Envision, this is what it looks like, and it brings up this page. It does tell you kind of about our program for youth, and then right below that is the information about the Youth Envision Summit held at the Leaf, and the summit dates are August 12th, 13th, and 14th, and then you just click on this Apply Now button. And then here you go from here. So it is going to walk you through. There's 3 little pages. You can type in all of the information. And then there's next, and then 2 more. So it'll walk you through the whole process. Like they said, there are a limited number of spots just because we do have to follow all of the CDC social distancing guidelines.
Right. Wow, you were super efficient, Jessica. Thank you for that. But that's great.
I didn't know we had
that. So that answer your question, Brenda, probably at more,
and I actually
more detail than you wanted.
I actually saw that website today. I actually shared it with my coworkers when I was enticing them to log on for the 3 o'clock meeting today. So hi, Kristen. So because that's the age range that we work with is age 14, and we actually were just extended to the age of 23. So it used to be 14 to 21, but now it's 23. So we definitely are overlapping in the age ranges that you're asking for. So that's why I wanted to let my coworkers know about the program, and hopefully, jump on today to learn about it. But then if not, they had the website to reference to hopefully learn.
Yeah.
But I had another activity too. I didn't know, and again, I know Chris is aware of this because I sent it around our office, but is anyone else on here aware of the 2020 Erie County Park Bingo that's going on right now?
No, I haven't heard of that.
It's being, and you're gonna test my eyesight, and I can actually send out an email, but it's being run through like the Parks and Rec of Erie. They give you 9 different parks in Erie, Girard, Fairview, obviously Asbury Woods, Harbor Creek Park, things like that. They gave you a bingo board, and you have to go around and take a selfie at each one of these parks, and to find this tree with a letter on it right at the entrance of the park. And as long as you complete your bingo board, you turn it in. There's an email address on the information that I have that I can forward out. And if you complete your bingo board and send it in, you have to be 18 or older to participate. So if a youth wanted to do it, technically they have to go through a parent. But you have the opportunity to win $200 worth of gift cards. There's going to be a winner of all the bingo boards. So
Nice.
It's free to participate with the opportunity of possibly being the winner. So I think that's pretty cool. So I can email either Wendi or Jessica with the information if they want to send it around.
Please do. We would love to share that. We would love to share that too. And then the only other things that I came up with out in the county was in Edinburgh, the VFW has a pool. And you can call them. It's $5 per session, morning session, afternoon session. You have to have reservations. And you do not need to bring your own chair to that because they will clean those chairs. Some of the other places, you got to bring your own lawn chairs. So you got to look at the paperwork that Curtis gave you. And then also, Goodell Gardens is a wonderful gardens. It's across the street from Edinburgh University at the IU5. It is a community botanical garden. They have a movie series, Under the Stars. And they have painted on the ground circles. I know Jessica and I are taking our boys to see the Sandlot. You can pack your picnic. You can go out there. You can sit in the lawn, watch your movie Under the Stars, and have a great family evening. And they also just booked a couple of concerts. July 24th, Sam and Frank will be out there. August 7th, Tony Kellogg, and they actually just booked for August 14th, Mambo Jazz. If you haven't seen Mambo Jazz, they are phenomenal, but they have to limit the amount of people that can be there. So that is an online ticket. So if you go to Goodell Gardens on Facebook, it'll link you right in. Jessica, I got us tickets because once again, what's more fun? Pack your picnic. Get your family together, go sit on your circle, bring your little tent. We've got, we're baseball moms, so we've got all the little tents. And you just go out there and have an evening where you are enjoying yourself and have some really great music. And I think the food trucks usually come too. So Goodell Gardens is free right now. There's no admission, and they do have donation boxes all over. So all these events are free. You just have to go out there and take advantage of it. So can't say much about that. That's bad. But that's all I came up with extra was out here in the county.
No, that's excellent. I think if I could take a minute and talk just a little bit more for clarity, because I know that Kristen and Brenda are talking to coworkers and maybe sharing with clients and families that pushing towards this youth summit as an option for that age group that they're working with. It on some level seems like a broad age range developmentally and all of those things. So we've become really good at finding a way to, there are times when we have maybe a younger group. A majority of students are younger. Then there's been years when the majority were older. And then there were those years where there was like an 8th grader and the kid who just graduated. You know what I mean? And that's a broad spectrum. Depending on developmental levels and all of those things. But we have really been able to pull some ideas over the same topic and content areas where they're appropriate even for different ages in the same setting. And so it's a pretty broad encompassing level of content. It can get as deep or as shallow as it needs to, depending on the student's level of awareness and age and all of those types of things. So I think it's, again, sometimes 8th to 12th grade is like two different worlds, and it is in many cases, but we've gotten pretty good at, and sometimes it's a breaking down of who's going with this group and who's going with that group, and then how it's presented will be dependent upon the age group and functioning level and developmental level as well. So I just want to kind of throw that out as a little more information in relation to the youth division.
Well, we're gonna brag about you for a second. We're gonna brag about Curtis for a second. That is
this should be short.
That's actually one of his greatest strengths, I think, is Curtis's way to work with youth from all different genres, backgrounds, classes. He just has a natural way, young and old, of bringing them all together and talking to them about being their best self and bringing it back to them, and having them come together and have a different understanding and realization of who they are in their center, and then being able to shine out and learn about other people as well. Curtis, you do a phenomenal job. I've seen you put many times in many very uncomfortable situations where you can bring youth together and have them collaborate on something fantastic. So I always look forward to it. He's really good at it, guys. You should come see. Actually, we're recording it. We might be going live at CAM on cable.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. And I think too, to put out there that if a student, no matter what a young person's challenges may be, we've had young people in situations where I had to be kind of the authoritative figure previously, you know, not the mean guy. And it's just an act because I'm just not mean at all. But so more behaviorally challenged students, but by the end of the 3 days, they're actually participating because we've had some really unique ways of engaging them and utilizing those strengths that, if we don't use them the right way, become very distracting. So we've gotten really good at that. We've had, actually, was it last year? We had a young lady who was blind, visually impaired, and we were able to figure out a way to play catch with her, just like we were with the other students. And so there, I mean, there's, you know, whether it's wheelchair accessibility that would be needed, we'll find ways to make it so that every young person gets the opportunity to experience what we think is a great curriculum, a great series of activities, and great networking and hanging out fellowship sessions with other young people in the community. So if you know clients, again, that have some more difficult maybe behaviors, maybe have some different physical challenges that may seem to be more extreme than others, just let us know, give us some time to, you know, kind of know what we need to do to facilitate and accommodate that, and we will be able to do it. Again, from we've had young people in wheelchairs to young people that were blind, and probably many other uniquenesses. So don't let any of those things hold you back from recommending a family or a young person that you think would be a good fit.
And that was actually probably one of the coolest lessons that all those kids learned, is that even though our student could not see that she was right in there with everybody else, and everybody else was really impressed by that. It was quite a lesson. We also have some other really cool activities that we want to do, so we can't let everything out today. Just know that we are planned and prepared and ready. And then we also today have the newest, Jessica, do we have that hot off the press? The new COVID stuff. So when we're done with Curtis, we're going to go to COVID. Curtis.
Okay, well, thank you for not making me synonymous with COVID. I appreciate that. And but yeah, hopefully that there were some ideas. And again, we just had a conversation, and hopefully you smiled a little bit, had a little bit of fun, but also was given some valuable information that you can share with your family in particular, but also those families that you're working with professionally for activities and opportunities to get out the house, to get some physical movement, to get some unique experiences and exposure to some different activities and ideas that can get out there, but also families that need meal support and food support. You know what I mean? There are places in our community that are helping to provide those quality meals and experiences for families who could use that type of support and that wonderful, you know, asset in our community throughout the county. And I will say this last thing is, whatever you're doing, whatever activities, I'm not the bearer of gloom and doom. I'm probably one of the most positive and affirming people, humbly. Is that ironic? Humbly, I'll say that. But I really think that we have to be smart and wise and follow the protocols. If we're leaving our homes, we're going into community. It's not a bad thing to go and do these activities, but it is probably a bad thing to do them without following the protocols, without wearing your mask, continuing to sanitize. I read something today that we have close to 900 more new cases of COVID have been tested positive, or individuals tested positive in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania recently. And something the other day that said, I forget exactly where it was, I probably shouldn't reference it, but it speaks to the significance that we're not out of this process yet. Even though our communities are more open than they've been in the last several months, we still have to take precautions, follow the protocols, be safe, enjoy yourself, enjoy life, enjoy these activities and experiences, but be smart, be safe, and so that we can enjoy it for the long term. So thanks again for having me and let me be a part of Wonderful Wednesdays with Wendi Wotecki.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't name it.
Sounds like Mr. Jones would be a very good mentor for my program. I might have to get an email and send you some information, Mr. Jones.
Sure, I would love to do that. And I also work with a lot of other individuals that would probably be great options for mentors as well. I'm a pastor in town, so I've got a good group of men that we're looking to do some things in the community. I've mentored and worked with young people from literally Union City and Corey area to Northeast and Harbor Creek and everything in between. So I would love to hear more information. Jess, you can send, if you wouldn't mind, send Brenda my contact information. I know you have it in the office somewhere, so you could send my email to her. And sure, please reach out, and anything I can do to be supportive. Just a quick thing, another last thing, right? There's a group that I'm working with, just kind of did a press conference today that we're doing some more mentoring and some more community work, and we're going into the inner city of Erie, and we kind of reclaimed a building that was that had a business in there that was not community friendly. Again, I want to sound negative toward the proprietors of the business. There's a room for everything, but not everything should be in the same room. And so this is a very residential neighborhood type of an area, and the business wasn't conducive for that. Late night activities, etc. And so long story short, working with the business or the property owner, and we kind of taking that space back, and we're going to do youth activities there, community-based activities there. And so you'll hear more about that in the coming months, that we're going to be, another space, another opportunity for your families and your clients that are in the city, in particular, maybe on the east side of the city of Erie, to have another safe space, another community space as a resource in the community. So again, long way to say, Brenda, absolutely. Please reach out. Love to communicate with you and anything we can do to help. If I'm not the one, I probably know one or two steps of separation from who the one is. So
awesome. Well, and I am, and I was just going to make sure that Wendi and or Jessica got my message that I unfortunately jumped to an early agreement saying I would present on Wednesday with Wendi on the 29th. However, that was on vacation. So we hopefully will work out another date, but I too will hopefully be the presenter on one of these Wednesdays. So maybe if you want to keep an eye on the topics that she's doing, you can jump on and learn about our program on one of those Wednesdays, or like you said, individually, I'll reach out to you and let you know about what I do.
Perfect. I look forward to that. Heavy.
I will make sure that Curtis's email is in with the link that I send out after everything is over. So in tomorrow's survey link, I'll make sure that Curtis's email is in that email that I send out, as well as then the link for next week. So next week we'll have, Wendi is having SafeNet back on, correct? And they will be talking about their TLC program. for our youth.
Nice. Wonderful.
Big important program for unwed teenagers that have babies.
Wonderful.
They were
It's
wonderful job.
It's important.
It is. It really, really is. So with all that, watch the press conference, ladies, this afternoon at 5, and you'll get more information on what Curtis is cooking up in the city with his partner.
Just a part of a great group of guys and women who are trying to do some great stuff. So I'm glad to be on their team, and I'm glad to be on this team, the Wonderful Wednesdays with Wendi Mission and Power team. I said that really well, fast. That's alliteration. That just kind of flowed. But again, I'm excited to be a part. Looking forward to the upcoming Wednesday sessions with Brenda. Look forward to. I'll keep my eye and attention on when you're going to be on sharing about your program, and also just, flash, the youth summit's coming up next month. And we definitely want to have a maxed out house, because we think we know we have great product, great information, great opportunities for young people in our community. And several of them, actually, I saw one of the young ladies, believe it or not, the other day. She's like, Mr. Curtis. And so we're making lasting relationships as well, and exposing children to demographics of people that maybe, young white children may not get a chance to interact with an African-American male that closely. You know what I mean? Because maybe they don't see them in school, or the part of the county they live in, not a lot of black brothers in the county, so to speak, but it's just a beautiful connection with family, the human family. This is a great opportunity. We always have an eclectic, diverse group of folks presenting, and young people in the room being presented to and shared with. So again, that's my last highlight. Thank you. And let's talk COVID stuff now, right? Is that what we're doing?
Because
I'm muting myself right now.
Okay, so I unmuted. And here we go. I'm going to share screen as of about an hour and a half ago. Here is the latest update. So Erie News Now has a whole bunch of updates, and this one is the breaking news. Now, and I apologize if you've already seen this. I did not. It is, they're talking, there was this one in Erie News, and there's another one as well that they're talking about an additional green phase that will go between green and go between gray. So there's going to be like a green plus phase. So there's a video that you could watch that's on Erie News Now. And they're talking about
you better go dark.
That's on Erie News Now. So that's in there. And then this one, I mean, like we always talk about, we hate to agree to anybody, but here are the restrictions going effective tomorrow at midnight.
As long as you can still get slushies.
No, you can't take anything to go. Look.
What?
Yeah, it's all bars are prohibited from conducting operations unless they offer a sit-down, dine-in meal. First line. Wow. Alcohol can only be served for on-premise consumption when in the same transaction as a meal. So no to-go slushies, which I wonder how that's going to work for even like your country fairs. They have those like to-go alcohol slushies and things like that. Because you notice like 4 bullet points down, it says take out sales of alcohol for the off-premise of off-site consumptions are permitted, subject to any limitations or restrictions. So interesting. Occupancy is going back down to 25%. Restaurants and private cater going back down to 25%. All business retail food, you can see there's all kinds more there.
Occupancy includes staff now.
Yep. So if it's 25% somewhere, that includes staff. They have to include their staff in there. All nightclubs completely closed starting at midnight. No nightclubs at all. Events and gatherings, that includes weddings. So in immediate. Indoor events, no more than 25. Outdoor events, 250. And that includes staff. So that includes your wait staff, that includes your serving, that includes your parishioner if you're getting married, you know, your pastor or anybody. Telework, unless not possible, everyone is to continue telework remotely. Gyms, fitness facilities.
Oh, good. They're allowed to continue. That's good. People need that outlet.
So
Start with the mask on the treadmill.
I know. That kind of gives you an idea where Erie is at. I think we're going to see a little bit more floating through in the next day or two, sadly.
They pushed back the college fall sports.
Yeah, so college sports yesterday. Here is that video about new restrictions. So it is a video. There's no typed up information. And then here is the green plus phase. So if anybody is interested in that, that is right here where they start to discuss about, of course, Governor Wolf is vetoing it.
But yeah, we're sending our students back to school.
Well, colleges are saying they're not sending them back, but yeah, high school, elementary, they're all at this point still going back to school. This is that information that we just had pulled up. And then anything else below here, you know, starts to go into more about how they're limiting that capacity now, which is what we were just discussing. So, you know, more cases, of course. Yeah, I think some areas, and Philadelphia is already jumping on this bandwagon, the most, you know, they're trying to limit kids to only 2 days of school per week. I know around here, our school district has already discussed, you know, that they're going to do actually 5 days, whereas Philadelphia is discussing 2 days a week and then 3 days remotely. But most schools are trying to keep people in school because of families. So Erie News Now does have some information on here if anybody's interested in that. It's hard, of course, to know what is the most up-to-date information. So by the time this is set up in our archives, we could be completely outdated. Just keep that in mind, of course. But it at least gives you guys some information about what is the most recent as of right now.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I think.
I understand the seriousness of it, and I mean, obviously, you know, we don't want people to get sick and everything, but I wish there was another way to highlight the fact that, to my,
we're going to be all right. We just got to weather where we are and grow from it, and find new ways of creating and living in the new normal. That's very much upon us, and is going to be once we're COVID free. We're still not going to be going back to the world as it used to be. So, but that's okay. We can grow and expand and be more efficient. So.
Okay. Well, once again, thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us for another wonderful Wednesday with Wendi Rotecki. And next week, once again, is SafeNet, talking about our TLC programming. And until then, I hope you guys keep safe and keep healthy and wash those hands. All right. Thanks for stopping.
Right. Thank you for having me. All right.